second, because I have a Veridesk thing. Very forward thinking. So, hi guys, how are you?
We have a moderator? Oh, hey. We thought we had a moderator. That's so fun. What do you want to do? That means we can go off the hook. Yeah! Stop running the show. Why? Naughty girl. Oh, we're not gonna look at what the world has to see. Look at all the colors like yellow, blue, and green. Everyone has a special song deep inside your heart. If you want, you can sing with me. It's a perfect place to start. Because love, 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 love makes the world go round. Because love, 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 love makes the world go round.
Now, girls, what I told you about harmonizing in public.
I don't know about you guys, but I love Q&A at panels. So if there's no moderator,
Yeah.
let's just let them ask.
Let's ask questions.
I mean, we're here for you guys, so.
Let's
But
do it.
maybe we should have them talk in a microphone or something.
Sweet!
Oh, okay.
You're confusing me. What box? Carry around the box.
Check.
Is that the coolest or what? Have you ever seen that before?
All right, here we go.
The box.
Speaking to the box.
I will sneak into the box.
You're doing exceptionally well.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank you all, because you've been the voices of our heroes, our inspirations, and our friends growing up. And I want to thank you all for all the talent you put in, hard work you put into that for us.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question. I know you hear stories about during voice actors where they hit lines or scripts that they just go completely insane, or they just have incredible fun with.
Exactly.
And I remember when Tara Strong as Bubbles thought she was Mojo Jojo and things like that. So, out of all your experiences, what was the most fun, just a scene or script or scenario that you had to voice act?
I really like doing the special, like the musical one.
Yeah, See Me, Feel Me, Know Me.
Any of the singing ones we
Yeah,
really
we like
liked.
that.
I mean, quite honestly, we had so much fun in the studio. We just,
Always.
it wasn't work. Every time we went in, we just,
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
for each it wasn't work. Well, that's
She
because
was going through her purse.
She was doing her nails. Would you like to do your eyes? She was nursing your baby. It was a great opportunity.
We're like trying to act,
nurse
just like,
my baby. We can hear your baby sucking on your boob.
Yeah, we all
Sorry,
had
children.
we all
It's
tried
true
it.
story.
We all tried it during the series, and we all had our babies together.
I wouldn't know about that. I always had to leave the room.
There's some very naughty recordings of our
Oh, yeah.
B-roll,
Yes.
like when we were recording
We
and
would
stuff
get
that was
tired.
going on behind
You
the
guys
scenes was really funny.
yeah, we
and
like to
naughty.
like rewrite the theme song.
Like Bubbles, her butt is very itchy. She has a hairy boyfriend.
You just do that like all the time.
The guy who recorded us for the entire show is named Robert, and he's probably got about 100 hours of stuff that we hope never comes out.
Yeah, or he could be
Or
very
maybe
rich.
it would be really fun if it came out.
All right, we got another question right here.
Hey everyone.
Hi.
Hey, I got a question for all you guys. What was your favorite episode you liked working on throughout all these years?
So many.
The
liked
movie was
The
amazing.
movie was cool, yeah.
Really fun, and we, it was an amazing experience. We had great guests,
Yeah,
voices
we-
and everything.
Yeah. It's hard to say because each one was really kind of fun and special. We had a good time.
I liked when Bubbles got to be Mojo and the mayor. Those
Yeah.
were
Those were
fun.
good. I like those too.
Yeah.
I really,
Or when
really
Blossom got her hair cut by her sister.
Oh, that was so funny.
She wants to be Buttercup and he wants to be Blossom and no one wants to be.
All right, we got another question right over here to your right.
Did you prefer to play Professor or him?
Oh, well, both, but him, come on.
Come on.
You know, for a middle-aged straight guy from Kansas to be able to do him, it's like,
I think that was the most brilliant villain of all time. I really do. And it's because of your voice acting,
Well,
by the way. So can we give it up for him?
How that voice
That
evolved, but I
actually-
think it happened in the room, right?
I would not entirely. I wish I could take credit for it, but there actually was a character that they played for me. They said we want something in that vein. And if you've ever seen the movie Yellow Submarine with the Beatles, there's a character called the Blue Meanie, and it's very similar to him. I mean, I put a different spin on it, but they played that for me and said we want something in that vein, and I did about 5 seconds of it. It really was that easy. I just went, oh, and Craig and Danny were like, okay, that's it.
Yeah,
All right.
fast, I remember.
Yeah, it was
You
like,
got
oh,
a
okay.
question right here?
That's how voiceover acting
Yeah,
works.
sometimes.
As such prolific voice actors, do you guys ever get stuck in a role, or do you have a hard time finding?
Get out, Bubbles! Get out! What are you stuck? Somebody get out of me! Tara never stops. Like, we could be just hanging out at home and Tara will just blast into her character.
You're the same.
Yeah, kind of. Yes, I am.
We do voices all the time. I mean, stuff, yes. And if we're like with our British friends, we're British.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if
we
we're
run it
Latino
like a little
friends,
more.
we're Latino
With our
friends.
dogs,
Sponges.
We speak dog.
We speak lots of dog. Yeah. All right, another question, Wendy?
So,
That man can talk box.
I'm sorry, I have a little bit of voice issues, but
No, that's great.
so as actors, what is your favorite part of acting in general? Is it fun? Is it cool? Is it a good experience?
My favorite part is hanging out with people like this. No, I'm completely serious. If people ask me what my favorite series was, and I don't even hesitate, it was Powerpuff Girls. And it wasn't because, I mean, yeah, the scripts were amazing and the people were amazing, but what I will take to my grave from that experience was these guys, and being able to come out of that thing and go, I feel like I should have paid them.
You can pay me.
Yeah, we did.
I'll take I got PayPal.
Do you take PayPal?
Take checks.
But yeah, I mean, you know,
Credit card.
I mean, we grew up together, you know, we had our babies together and went out together. My wife would have been a little bit upset about that. But
Yeah, the
it
thing
is
about-
weird how many of their kids look just like me. Wait, that's really wrong. They're my
Hopefully no one's putting this on the internet.
No, somebody said that to me like 6 months ago, and it kind of made me mad because it had never popped into my head before. And some guy goes, "So what was he doing trying to make 3 little girls anyway?" And I'm like, "Oh, stop!"
All right, another question right here?
My question is, how did you become actors in the first place?
Well, I think most of us were born that way, and we just channeled it.
Evolved. Yeah, I started doing plays like early on in 4th grade, and I was super shy. And after I did my first play and started in it, I was like, "What do you like this?" And then, it just went on from there. But I think we all started young.
Yeah, I
right?
knew when I was 3 years old that I wanted to sing, dance, and act. I used to perform in front of my class, and I grew up in Toronto, and my parents didn't really know much about acting, and I finally got an agent when I was 13, and my first voiceover job was Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty's Fairy Tale Theater's proud to present The Wizard of Oz.
That was my very first one. And yeah, I think you really are born with it. It's got to be in your blood because it's such a hard business to break into, and it's heartbreaking when you don't get roles that you really, really want. So you have to really want to do nothing else.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think. Getting the job and doing the job is, at the job is amazing, but it's getting the
Get in
job.
there.
Me?
Easy. Oh, I was sidetracked looking at you guys. What's so cool about voiceover guys is like I was always doing movies like Valley Girl and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I did a lot of movies. So for me, it was sort of like I did this play, and all of a sudden somebody came to the play and heard me do voices, and he's like, "You're really good at those voices." And I was like, "I'm an actor," But I didn't think anything about. I never grew up thinking I'm going to be a famous cartoon. And then one day, he signed me to his little
this little agency, and the next thing you know, my first audition was, they showed me a little picture of a little claymation kid, and I thought, well, that's funny. They said, can you do a voice for this little claymation? And I was like, wow, that's interesting, because my whole life since I was a little girl, I used to walk around the playground with my best friend, and we would hold pinkies, and then we would do baby voices. And so I had this baby voice that I would do, was like, oh, let's block for a sheet from the water fountain. And then all of a sudden I get this little claymation, I do this audition and I book it, and it's Tommy Pickles. So, you know, who knew? I always tell everybody, pay attention to what you do when you're a kid. That's really fun and easy, and is your own little funny little gift, because that might be the goose that lays the golden egg later on.
All right, I've got another question right here.
How do you guys float in the episodes?
Float?
There, you have to go X, duh. They draw us that way.
All right, another question right here.
How long have you been acting?
100 years.
Well, I started when I was 13, and I'm 29, so.
Forever, really.
I started when I was, how old are you? I started when I was like 8 years old, so right around there.
And she's 29 too.
And I'm 27, get it right, Tara.
I've been acting since I was about 3, but I only started getting paid for it when I was in my 20s.
All right, here we go.
Hi.
Hi.
This is mostly a question for Tara. I'm sorry.
Whoa!
Lots of lights back. She's got some kind of superpower.
Okay, so as you know from yesterday, I am a huge Bratz fan.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering what it was like voicing Katya.
It was really fun. I think it was the first Bratz I had done, and it was such a beautiful drawing, and I love doing ethnically interesting characters, and she's just a beautiful character. It was so much fun. She's your favorite ever? Aww. You're so
All right, we got
cute.
one more right over here.
Alright, I was wondering, how excited were you guys to hear that there was a reboot that you all were going to get to work on Powerpuff Girls again?
That we were going to get to?
Well, we did the pilot, and they told us actually we were going to do it, and then
you know what happened.
We were really excited to do the pilot because we were looking forward to doing more for you guys, and then all of a sudden we found out we weren't the voices. Anyway.
Well, we weren't, but he was. Just saying.
That just happens sometimes. Sometimes they get
Just so you guys know though, it's not the money, like, we would never say no.
We never take.
Most voice actors would say, would you do this again for scale? So scale is when you book a job, even if you've been doing it for 20 years, you go back to scale, which is typically around $800 a session for 4 hours. And every single voice actor goes back to scale at the beginning of any job or at a reboot.
Yeah.
So just so y'all know.
Yeah, because
It wasn't the money.
It wasn't the
Yeah,
money.
well, yeah,
It wasn't the money.
I don't know this because I haven't asked because I don't want to get into it, but I'm pretty sure just from what I've heard, it had nothing to do with them, it had nothing to do with money. Just some, it's a whole new group of people that had nothing to do with the original show.
Except
And
for
they're
the
all-
men.
Well, they're all in their.
Yeah, but
I think a lot of it is they had this idea that they wanted actual teenagers, and
Except
younger
for
to do
the
it.
men.
okay, Tom. Okay, Tom, admit it. You liked us better.
I do. I do. I think that the reason, that I'm back is because he was an adult, and he wasn't supposed to be any different or same. And I think they just, that's really what it came down to. Is they thought, well, they're girls. They should get a 12-year-old to do it.
All right.
But anyway, enough of
We
that.
got another question right
Oh,
here.
look, a moose.
Enough of that.
We got another question right here.
Is Cree Summer as crazy as she seems?
Amazingly crazy.
I love her so much. She and I worked together on my first show. She was in Hello Kitty with me. She played the bad cat. And I was 15 and she was 18. And she used to come to work on a Harley or an MG, and she was just the coolest chick ever, and she still is. She's just the coolest.
So cool.
The ultimate cool is Cree Summer. She's just the ultimate cool.
She's really funny too. She's like a really funny girl, and she'll laugh. She laughs all the time. She's just
All
a
right,
good
we
girl.
got another question right here.
And she's like, whoa, no more talking about Cree. She's like, whoa, moving on.
So, has there ever been any lines or things you had to do with your voice that were very hard during the show or really any show?
You mean like taxing on our voice vocally?
Yeah.
What was the most taxing thing you've done on your voice?
Doing games is the most taxing. At the end of a game session, you have to do all these screams and yells and efforts, and if you've done more than one character, you do it for everything. So that could be hard. And I also games are hard in particular because we have to do it by ourselves. So and the great thing about our experience was we got to work as a full cast, which I think is becoming less and less common. And I think part of our success was the chemistry between all of us and that we worked off each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure, video games, because it's just you for 4 hours, and even if you're not screaming, your voice gets tired. But probably the most taxing role in my voice was Terrence from Foster's Home, because like everything he said was always angry and Blueface, you're a loser, it was all the time. So that was kind of hard.
I would say Froggy on the Little Rascals, the live action. I went and redid the boy's voice because they needed to be more froggy. So Frog was like, "What's the high side beating?" And he was like, "It's like, kill me." But that was a good one. And then there was one other one where I did, I think it was Lorenzo's Well, the movie Lorenzo's Well, where I actually played a boy. It was a feature. And the director, George Miller, did all the Happy Feet movies and Mad Max movies. In that movie, I had to play this boy's voice he was getting sick, so he needed to do all these convulsion sounds. So they would lie me on the floor in the studio and they would put a mic over my head. The director would come over and pounce on my belly and on my rib cage. So I would be like, like that. And that was kind of hard.
Sounds kinky.
Alright, we got another question.
I like it like that.
We got another question to the left over here, back here.
Hello, I know you guys have all done tons of different shows, so outside of the Powerpuff Girls, what was your favorite character to play and why?
Well, for me, it's Yoda, because, that's I'm a big old geek from way back, so yeah, that for me, that's an easy one, so.
There's so many that I like, but I got to do a game called Broken Ages. I don't know if you guys know that one, but I get to play a character named Carl. It's Carol with one of the letters removed for reasons that are too stupid to repeat. She just had like line after line that was just like so, all I had to do was say it. She was just so funny, so.
I also have a lot of favorites, but my very favorite was The Little Mermaid 2. Because I was such a fan of the first one, so to get in the booth and sing with Jodie Benson, and she was so sweet, like I really could have died the next day. That was like amazing.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
I liked her. I'm glad you didn't too.
All right, I would say Baby Mumble from Happy Feet. He was like, I mean, like, because he was so dang cute.
Alright, we got another question to your left in the back. So do you have any advice for young actors in order to get into the industry and all?
Any what?
If you Google D. Baker, D-E-E
Yes.
Baker, he has a free website on everything you need to know about getting into the business. Like we always say, absolutely, you need an acting base, take singing lessons so you know what your voice can do, improv classes. Kathy also teaches, and it's really important to come from an acting background because if you're just reading it off the page, it's not going to come to life. So all of us have extensive acting training.
And I think nowadays, the acting portion is because they're using a lot of on-camera actors, and if you don't have that piece, if you just do like a funny voice, it's not enough. And so it all really has to come from the acting. So studying acting in your school, getting in the plays, if you are a singer, it helps. And actually most voiceover actors are musically inclined or singers because, and that's a great way to train your ear. Doing some mimicking, is a good thing to start off on, but you want to create your own voices, really, because if people are alive and well, you're not going to get hired necessarily to do their voice.
Not necessarily, but sometimes. Yeah, except for when they replace the whole cast. Anyway. Boys!
There's also, I did a voiceover seminar that's really easy, and I tell them it's a 2.5-hour voiceover seminar. I filmed it, and it basically gives you a lot of tips, tools, and how-tos. But it also tells you, like, there's a lot of ways to learn about voiceover, like even just like watch this, if you want to do radio or TV, like listen to the radio, watch TV commercials, see how they do it. There's patterns. There's like, tonight on Fox, Family Matters, will she get the boy? There's like little rhythms and things to do with your voice. So anyway, that's on egdaily.com. Come check it out. It's not just like 20
All right, to the left on that.
This is for Tara or all of you. What's your thoughts on Butch Hartman leaving Nickelodeon?
Well, I'm sad because that means there'll be no more Fairly Odd Parents ever. Yeah, so, and I love that show so much, so
I wish there were more Fairly Odd Parents.
but he's so amazing, and he's worked there for so long and done so much for Nickelodeon, and we all love everything he's done. Obviously, Danny Phantom, and he's just an amazing artist, but he's not leaving the world. He's still going to be making all kinds of cool content, but it does make me sad that there's not going to be any more FOP.
All right, to the back and in the middle.
Hello, first off, I'd like to say, Professor, I love you.
We love him too.
This question is actually for my daughter, and she wants to know what it was like to do the voice of Harley Quinn in the Batman video game.
Well, when I first started, I was terrified because I love Arlene so much, and the character was created for her. So those were some awfully big shoes to fill, and I was so terrified that people wouldn't like what I was doing, because when I went in, they said we don't want it to be her. We want it to be a different version and a new version, and you have to make it your own. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if the fans don't like it? So it was super scary, but it was so much fun. And like, talk about getting tired of video games. I don't know why, but anytime it's Harley, like I never get tired. It's like a way to take out my frustration.
I just love going in there and saying, okay, bang, bang, and it's just fun, even if I'm yelling the whole time.
First of all, I just want to thank you for being here. It's just a pleasure meeting you all. My question is, what's your favorite improv you did for anything?
Favorite improv on Powerpuff Girls or on any show?
Just any show or movie.
I think, like we were saying, I think we were constantly improving, but not when we were supposed to be. So it was like when we were supposed to be doing lines, but we were busy goofing off. Those are my favorite improvs.
We get to improv a lot, so it'd be hard to sort of pinpoint one, but when I think of Powerpuff Girls, I don't know why it would come to me to make Bubbles pronounce things weird, like, "Bing-ding!" Remember she would say, "Bing-ding!" And when I was talking to Squirrels,
you would say things like,
"Bitch!" Yeah, that too. When I look at you! But when she was talking to Squirrels, it would be like, and Tom Kenny was like, "Is this how you talk to squirrels?" I don't know, there's fun little weird ways that she pronounced things and stuff.
All right, we got another question here.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
I was wondering, has there been any voice actor that you haven't worked with in a while that you want to work with again?
Oh, yes.
Have you worked with a lot?
Well, I've never worked with Tress McNeil at all, and she's one of my favorite voiceover actresses. I think she's great. I've never worked with Cree either.
What? I know it!
I know. So those two, I think I would love to work with.
Someone once put on the internet, are you guys together, dating? Are you guys, because you're always on stuff together, so just asking if you request that so you can make out at the session.
Oh, yeah.
I love working with Frank Welker. It's been a minute. I love him.
Yes, he
It's so great. And actually, I haven't got to work with Tom in a long time. That'd be fun.
I don't live in LA anymore, so everything I do is from my studio at home, and so I'll work with anybody because I never see anybody.
Yeah, working with all these three again.
That's why I like coming to these things. See some old friends, so very nice.
All right, the question right here.
And I know you guys worked on all kinds of shows, but what show that you did not work on would you wish you would have?
Oh, that paycheck from The Simpsons would have been nice.
That one's not scale.
Not anymore.
We got another question right here.
Hi, one of my favorite episodes was the one with the Rowdyruff Boys. And I was wondering if that changed the dynamic of the studio with them, playing off of them, or how that worked.
That was Rob Paulson and who else?
Jeff.
Jeff.
Bennett.
Oh, Jeff Bennett, yeah. No, they're both amazing to work with.
Yeah.
And he was in the movie too, right? And he's amazing. I think it was a lot of fun. Those characters are really sweet, and that's why they brought him back, I think, quite a few times.
Yeah.
All right, we got another question right here.
Do you guys ever walk into a room of strangers and like they don't know that you're Tara Strong or E.G. Daily and you just mess with them? Because if I could do what you guys do 24/7, like, I would, so I was just curious.
You know what the best is when you're in an elevator and there's like kids in the elevator, and then you're just standing there waiting, and then you go, "Excuse me, could you press floor 3, please?" And you're just like, what?
I like messing with telemarketers a lot.
Nobody's here. I'm all by myself. I have lots of big knives.
And also, like, I started cosplaying, and it was really fun the first time I did Harley at Comic-Con. Like, thank you. At Comic-Con, when I walked to the hotel, people were like, sure. But in costume, people that knows me, because there's a million Harleys. And so this one guy, and a lot of people stopped me because it was a good costume, and this one guy's like, can I please take your picture? Harley's my favorite, you're like my 20th today. And so I posed and I went, okay, Quentin, but am I your favorite? And he goes, I don't know, I've seen a lot of good ones. I was kind of excited for him to go home and like, wait a minute.
See, I'm a 6'5" middle-aged guy. I'm talking weird voices to kids, and I get in trouble. Especially on elevators. Mom's gotta go, honey, let's gotta get off this floor. It's not quite the same effect.
You know what, in my real life, I don't talk that much in voices, and I remember once, a long time ago, when a little girl, somebody was like, she's the voice of Tanya in Five Goes West, and you know, I did the voice for a little girl, and I was like, dreams to dream in the dark of the night, and she just kind of looked at me like, why is this old lady doing like little girls? You know, like, so I don't do it a lot, but it does freak people out when I'm in my regular world and people have known me for a long time, and then all of a sudden they didn't know that I do any of this, and then I am like, not so fast, Mojo Jojo! You know, and then they're like, oh my god! You know, so.
All right, we got another question right here.
I have two for Tara. What would have to be your favorite moment as Twilight Sparkle? And a friend of mine was wondering how you got the role as Arizona in Then's Fighting Herds.
Oh, I don't remember doing that. There's so many that I do that I don't remember, but whenever you're doing a show and they have you do an incidental character, it's usually the director will say, you're doing this part today, you're doing that part today. And probably the funnest episode for me was Lesson 0. It was so much fun, and she was awfully tiny! And I loved doing the wedding episode. I thought that was beautiful. I don't have a lot of fun on that show, except that I don't get to work with the other girls because they're all in Vancouver, so I'm in LA, but we have so much fun when we get together. What's your favorite episode?
Question number 5.
Well, Tara, you obviously are great as Raven at DC Comics and everything. I wanted to ask the others, if you could voice any DC hero or heroine, who would you choose to do a voice star with Raven?
Raven.
Whatever, back off, sister.
That's an interesting question. Poison ivy might be nice.
How about you, Tommy?
Oh, I've always been partial to Superman.
Aww.
And when I was younger, that brown hair, I kind of looked like him.
Alright,
This question's for Tom. When you work in commercials, is it a quick process or?
Oh, it depends on the commercial. You know, if someone's hiring me because they know what I do and I've done something like that before, it's quick and easy because they're just like, just do your thing. Yeah, the ones that are problematic are when they don't really know what they want and they, you know, 40 takes later, we've done like 4 different things, and I'm like, you do realize that nothing we've just done in the last 20 minutes is going to match anything we did in the first 20 minutes. So I don't even know where we are anymore. But you know, those are balanced out though. Most of my work on a day-to-day basis is movie trailers, and those are a breeze. I mean, a typical trailer session will last 10 minutes. You know, because by the time they've hired me because they know exactly what I do. I mean, some of like right now, I'm doing tons of stuff for not Romeo and Juliet, it's Sherlock Gnomes, which is out now. And that voice is Johnny Depp is Sherlock Gnomes, rated PG-13, stars party in theaters everywhere. That kind of thing. And it's, you know, once you get into a campaign like that, they'll just send me a copy and I just record it and send it to them because it's, you know, again, what someone was saying earlier, there's a pattern. You know, trailer stuff is very stylized. Nobody talks like that. Yes, I'll have eggs and I'll have some sausage. Because in a world, we like sausage. No, so it's so bizarre.
Sausage? Is he talking about sausage?
All right, to your left
Yes.
here.
Hi, Tara. This question's
Tara, I'm here too. We don't like you with your smelly bum.
Yes.
This isn't Powerpuff Girls related, but what was your favorite part of the MLP movie? And thanks again for signing my book.
You're welcome. I loved when they became sea ponies. I thought that was so darn cool. And Kristen Chenoweth was so sweet. It was such a treat to meet her. You know, like when you love someone so long and you meet them and they're not so nice, but then the ones you meet are super nice. She was so sweet. Loved her.
Way sweeter than you, bitch. Be quiet.
All right. So I know there's gotta be a few Raven fans in here. So first of all, let's hear it for Tara Strong. And so, how was the role of Raven played into your everyday life? Did people start recognizing you on the streets? When, like in this scene I saw on TV where someone saw Steph Curry just walking down the street. Did people like recognize you when you do that?
Sometimes I get recognized. Every time I go into GameStop, that's for sure. This is my favorite. They're like checking you. Oh my God, are you Tara Strong? And if they don't recognize me, my son will be like in line at Target. He's like, you know, that's Timmy Turner. I'm like, oh, he's really cute about that.
All right, to your right here.
Do any of you have any new projects that you're working on that you're particularly excited about?
Yes, but we're not allowed to talk.
I'm excited about Unikitty. That's really cute. Yeah, I like Unikitty. That's fun.
There's this Han Solo movie. Oh no.
Do you guys know the Stinky and Dirty show? I play Moby D on that character. Having met that character on that show.
There's a new show called Nubbin and Friends that's coming out this year that I'm doing this voice of Nubbin. And also Curious George got picked up for some more episodes, so I do Steve on Curious George. Fun.
All right, we have another question right here.
So I'm sorry to bring this up again. The new Powerpuff Girls were mentioned. What is your honest opinion of the show?
Is that for us or Tom?
All of you.
I've never seen it.
Pass.
Let me just say one thing. We have nothing against the new actors. They're completely lovely and wish them the best.
Yes.
But from that, it would be dishonest to say that it doesn't upset you because, like, when you create a character, they are part of you, and it's like it feels weird to see someone else do it. And it happens all the time, by the way. There's been other Ravens and obviously other Harleys, and it's like we feel like very connected to these characters, so that's why it's sort of hurtful when there's a replacement. So any actor that says we don't care isn't being honest. Like I think you once said it's like they're your babies. You create them.
You grow them, and it's just like as if you were to have a little kid, and then all of a sudden they have their mom the whole time, and then all of a sudden you go, we're gonna change your mom today, how's that? And the kid's like, what? And a lot of the fans are like, what is happening? You know, you're changing somebody that they were close to all of a sudden. So the question's like, well, why do you have to do that? Sometimes it's just a creative choice, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. So it didn't really make sense to us.
But luckily, we all work
We're all
still,
grateful.
and we're all at the end of our careers. So
Look, sometimes studios make mistakes.
So I have a question. Do the other Powerpuff Girls ever do cons?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So that's a plus for you guys. Because these people know
Because
you.
we're the real ones.
Alright, I have a question right over here.
Hello.
Hello.
What was your favorite moment as Tommy Pickles?
Oh my gosh, I really love the earlier episodes, and I like the one like, I like being naked. I really really like those very first early episodes. They're just so sweet and so well written. So I have to say those.
Can I tell you my favorite one that I watched you do? When you went to labor.
Oh my God.
Like literally, she went into labor.
I was in labor during Rugrats.
Rugrats.
I was like this. But Jackie, I'm not sure I like that very much. Oh, please. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm ready. I don't know, Jackie. Something's really strange around here. Oh, please.
I was like, will you get her to a hospital, please? Hey, put down the microphone.
And that night, my daughter was born.
To the far right, we have 5 minutes left, so if anybody has any questions, please raise your hand.
That's hardcore.
Do you think they'll ever make?
It's so clearly.
Do you think they'll ever make the Powerpuff Girls into real characters in a real movie?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really
That,
cool.
that would be cool. I've seen like there's stuff online where
Yeah, there's some
you
really
see people
adorable
like
fans
yeah.
that have done some pretty cute stuff. And we love seeing that stuff
Yeah.
too.
I'd like to see my daughter get the part of the role.
Aw, I bet.
All right, we got another question right over here. Where'd you go?
Hey, Professor.
Yeah.
Do you relate to Professor as a character at all?
Oh, sure. I mean, of all the things I've done, he's the most like me. He's a dorky dad, and I'm a dorky dad. So.
Now, wait a minute, children. Can I say this?
His voice is pretty much mine. So I took me and mixed in a little Gary Owens. And I asked Gary if that was okay back in the day. I said, I just auditioned something. It was kind of a blend of me and you. And he's like, but as long as you do me well.
You know what's really cool about Tom? He really was like kind of dad figure. And also, while we were doing episodes throughout those years, Tom was adopting babies.
Left and right.
He was literally like, he'd be like, I got another baby coming. And so literally, how many babies do you have now?
Oh, well, they're all grown. Most of them grown up, but we have 9 kids total.
He's adopted 9 kids. He has some of his own, but he went and adopted a gaggle of amazing children.
Yeah, well, thank you.
All right, we got another question right here. Back.
Professor, you said that with him you had some coaching. What are some iconic characters you guys have done without any coaching, really, just kind of being both on the fly?
Well, I didn't have any coaching per
They
se.
just
It's
played.
just they just played a chunk of something. I mean, that happened. I mean,
That was
none
all
of us
time.
really do much
Yeah.
coaching that that we've gotten. She teaches. All of them teach to some degree, but I don't think many of us have gotten a ton from other people. But we just, some people are really good at making new and crazy voices that no one's ever heard before, but there's only so much under the sun vocally that's within the human range. So anything we do is going to be somewhat similar to something that some character actor sounded like in 1952 on a TV show. Well, in my case, I don't have a shred of modesty or originality in my body, so I just steal from the stuff I grew up. So these people come up with some new and cool things. I just live, like I said, it's just take me and a chunk of Gary Owens, and I got a character. Someone wants an old cowboy, and I do it, so Walter Brennan. And if the engineers and the producers are under the age of 35, they think it's something I made up.
I think that's what we have to do. Is
Yeah.
listen. We take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and kind of mix it
Yeah,
up.
so,
That's what
it's-
creativity is.
All right. We got time for 2 more questions. Go ahead.
I actually had just 2 quick questions. One, what can I do to start my voice acting career? I really want to. And my other question is can I get Catherine's and Tom's autographs before we leave here? I just needed you two because I already got Tara's and Angie's, so that's all.
We
That's
went
all
back
I
to the tables right after.
I don't have a line, so you don't worry.
Back to the tables, yes.
And we were saying before, go on to D. Baker's site if you want all kinds of free information, and both these girls have classes, and acting class is super important.
I think these websites, it's a blog sort of format.
It's
I
a great
think
blog.
I think it's I want to be a voice
Yeah,
actor.
and it's all free.
I want to be it.
I want to be a voice actor.
Just look on his D. Bradley Baker's website, and there's a link to I want to be a voice actor. He actually came and spoke at my class. It was like, do you live out here?
Currently, no. I'm just kind of trying to figure my current situation.
Because if you go to LA, there's tons of classes. But are you in school?
Not really, no.
Okay, so I don't know, there's got to be some kind of theater or, program, or you could audition for theater, or, there's got to be some kind of classes you could take out here. And that's the best way, start studying acting. And then for voice acting, you can practice by mimicking, and then starting to create your own, what do you say?
All right. One more question, right? I mean, 2 more questions, that's it.
Hi, I just want to say Raven was my favorite character growing up, and I was wondering, what was your favorite episode to do for Teen Titans?
Oh, that's such a good question. Gosh, I love that show so much. My favorite episode. I really loved anything with Slade and Trigon and, like anything where she had really deep inner battles. I just found her such a fascinating character. And when you ask about like coming up with a voice without anyone coaching or coaxing something out of you, Raven, I auditioned for at the same time that I was doing Batgirl and Kylie, Mr. Ghostbuster over there, I see you. And they were 2 like tragic teenage girls, and this was like the third, and I thought, well, how am I gonna separate myself from those 2? And I sort of did a deeper version of Batgirl, and then I left the studio, and then right when I was leaving, I said to Andrea Romano, would you mind if I just sort of tried something that like literally just popped into my head, and that was to have this weird like guttural role. And she was like, oh, like a poltergeist thing. I'm like, yes, everything she says is here. And it was great because like I didn't really have to work that hard. And like, I remember Jeff Bennett coming in and saying, wow, Tara, you're really stretching yourself on this show. But it was just like this character that just came to me, and she's so important in my life and in yours, so thank you for that.
All right, this is the final question.
Hey guys, just want to say, you mentioned your kids earlier. So you have your room full of kids and big kids that give you all kinds of praise and adulation for everything that you do. How do your real kids react to what you do?
Well, when you're mom, my kids are 19 and 21, but all through school, like when they were in school, there would be like silent auctions and stuff. I was like the highest bid. Like they'd ask the parents to bring in things to donate for the school things, and the Rugrat, like birthday wishes and hang out with a bunch of the cartoon characters. Those were really popular. So I was kind of like the cool, Tommy Pickles mom.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you about my kids, okay? You'll get it too. So Sam Strong was like, he grew up at Nickelodeon Cartoon Network. We all got to bring our kids all the time. And he didn't think it was so cool till like he got to school. And he's like, dude, your mom's been 10 and stuff like that. But then he thought it was really uncool when My Little Pony took off. But everyone was like, Sam, what's gonna happen next season? Like, and every time I come to school, they're like, tell us some spoilers! Like, they would go nuts and be like, Mom, it's so embarrassing. Aiden, like, loves everything I do, and he likes to find things that he doesn't know I'm in. Like, he'll go like, Mom, I'm good, you're in this episode of Family Guy, and there's 5 kids from all over the world, and you're every single one. And he, like, laughs and he cries, and we go, oh, I'm killing everybody in Injustice as you. Like, he likes finding things that, is not true. So then they get it.
My daughter is 19 as well, and she, of course, wants to be really cool and everything, but she is super proud of me, and she will be like I actually don't tell people, but she does, because she's proud, and she'd be like, my mom's blessing, so it's really, it's cool. She digs it.
I'm so obnoxious that most of my kids did never want to tell anybody what I did. To an extent, it's just, whatever Dad does is what Dad does. It wasn't impressive to them. The first time my kids were ever thoroughly speechless was, I just had some friends were coming over for dinner, and the doorbell rang, and it was Mark and Mary Lou and Chelsea, Mark Howell, and his wife, Mary Lou, and his daughter Chelsea. They were 12 at the time, and my kids were, a couple of them were 12. And I just was like, Mark was in the backyard. We had a petting zoo, and he was playing with our pig. We had a pet pot pig. And so my kids kind of showed up after a few minutes, and I was like, oh, this is, Mary Lou Hamill, this is Cherry. So, and they didn't make the connection. I said, Mark's out there, and all of a sudden, all my kids were. And then the whole evening, they just were like going. So something like that was cool. Nothing because of I did. Nothing I did.
All right, we'd like to thank you for coming to the panel. Thank you,
Thank
This video is sponsored by the Crazy Kings of Toys. Check them out for all your toy needs and find out why they are so crazy. Find them on eBay, Bricklink, and Facebook. Links are in the description. For more Toxic Pop, visit our website at toxicpop1.wixsite.com/toxicpop. Email us at toxicpop1@gmail.com and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/toxicpop1 and Instagram at instagram.com/wearetoxicpop. Links are in the description.